When a student is first putting together their portfolio, one of the first things they should think about is technical skill. At CCAD, we don't believe that a portfolio should only demonstrate technical skill. I'll talk more about that, but I really do believe a portfolio is generally there to show off your very best skills in whatever medium you're strongest in. So let's say a student has had the ability to experiment with watercolors and pastels and photography and ceramics, variety of subject matter. Do you have environments or landscapes as well as portraiture or characters or animals? You can also explore variety in scale. So if you really love to paint or draw, have you done things that are quite large? Have you done things that are really small? That's really using a skill set in two really different ways. You definitely want to show off pieces in your portfolio that demonstrate originality as well. A lot of times students may have classroom assignments that are quite common among their peers in their school or even across the country. And so where can you make either a class assignment or a passion project your own? That's really where you're getting to show off your voice as an artist. So let's say maybe you are interested in going into illustration, animation, maybe character design. You can tell stories in the pieces that you're putting in your portfolio by developing your characters or maybe even showcasing your own original comic. Work can also be conceptual. Conceptual work, I think, sometimes gets classified as being really serious. Sometimes conceptual work it's personal, it's meaningful, maybe it's political, kind of telling the story of our times. But conceptual can also be funny, quirky, whimsical. Conceptual and storytelling go a little bit hand in hand, but it's just about picking pieces that have something to say. Some students aren't either conceptual or storytellers. Sometimes students are functional makers. We love to see function. We offer a variety of majors that really are about functional thinking, fashion, product design, interior design, even graphic design. So you can absolutely include pieces in a portfolio that have a functional component. So how well does that graphic design work in terms of it telling the story of a brand? How well does that dress fit and function on the form of a moving body? That's functional thinking, and that's all really important. So we love to see that on display in a student's portfolio if that's what they love to make. We understand that not all students get to live in an area, a home, a school, a community that have a lot of resources. So a lot of times we think about newsprint, thrown away magazines, junk mail, plastic bags from the grocery store. I've seen incredible things made out of throwaway items, free materials, junk or trash in other people's eyes that can create beautiful 3D and 2D multifaceted pieces. So I really encourage students to take your passion, find what you can, and make what you can make with what you have at your fingertips. At CCAD, we offer portfolio reviews to prospective students to help them prepare for the application process. What you bring to the table in a portfolio review, either via Zoom or in person in an appointment room, it does not have to be your finished portfolio. That's kind of the point. We're here to discuss what you have so far and where we see either room for growth, improvement, documentation tips. We will look at it in any format as they prepare it and have that conversation together so that they feel more prepared when the time does come for them to click submit. The final step a student should take to make sure that their portfolio is the best it can be is, like I said, to really think carefully about the body of work you have and ensure that it is meeting the criteria of whatever program, school, internship, or professional opportunity you're applying to. For creatives, something I think that is important to know is that your portfolio is always going to grow and change and be different depending on what opportunity it's being applied to. Your portfolio should be a living, breathing document that shows off your technical skill, your originality, your ability to either tell stories or work as a conceptual or functional thinker, and really put your best foot forward in front of those who are excited to learn about you as an artist. One thing I'm so passionate about students and families knowing is that admissions are not quite the gatekeepers we're often made out to be. This day and age, it's so important for students to connect with the professionals working at any college they're interested in, to connect and get advice on how to make the most of this moment. A lot of times admissions officers are rooting for students. We're here to unlock, to demystify, and to help students, like I said, make the most of this moment and put their best foot forward so that not only can they be considered for admissions, but also potentially more scholarship money. And we want that for students. We're here to help. Sometimes after a student has had a portfolio review with us, they can feel overwhelmed, particularly if they're getting multiple reviews from different resources at different institutions, schools, or programs. That can feel so overwhelming. You're just like, I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to stick with what I've got. It went well enough. Let's just keep it here, and potentially submit the same portfolio to all the same places. The whole reason for getting that feedback, though, that is a really brave step, but it's even braver to take that feedback and adapt and change. We understand it does take time that students don't always have, but even if there's one or two things that you take away from a conversation and tweak or change to up your game, it will always be worth it. At CCAD, not only our faculty, but so many of our staff are actually creatives, artists, and creative thinkers themselves. I myself was absolutely an art kiddo, went through the art college system, am still an active maker. And so I really have empathy for those students putting themselves on the line here to submit their work for critique and get that feedback on work they've maybe even never shown their best friend or their family. So we get it. My team of counselors, myself here as the director, and many of the faculty or staff that you would meet here on our campus are really going to be able to understand and relate and talk in the same language that you do as a creative as well.